Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Rodrigo, the developer of Finance Interactive, and I want to talk a little bit about this project that I've been working on. So, in a nutshell, Finance Interactive is a financial simulator game in which I hope to make you learn about the stock market and real world finance while having fun and without even trying it. So, before getting into the details about how this works, I would like to talk a little bit about my background, how this project came to life, because this is not just about finance or about a game, rather, it is about reshaping the way we learn, and not only that, even the way we live. And that's a pretty bold claim, so let's get to it. So, how everything starts. This start a little bit more than a year ago. I'm a mathematician and I was working as a researcher. And at some point, I decided I don't want to do this anymore for a variety of reasons. And I was in a sort of vacuum. I didn't know what to do next. Okay, I had still a year of contract, but wasn't clear what's coming next. So this led me to be a little bit depressed and unmotivated during my day job because I didn't want to do it anymore. So I started thinking, okay, what can I do to lift my mood a little bit? I started playing a little bit some games that I haven't played in a while because I was busy doing stuff. So I started playing a little bit, having fun, and I realized the following: while playing those games, I was completely focused, motivated, like hooked, and I lost the sense of time. Was a wonderful experience, and of course, that's something that every gamer has experienced. Like the picture here, that's very real. It really shows the heart of how you are feeling while playing. And I noticed that while I was playing, I was completely focused and motivated, and is like full of energy. While during my day job, I wasn't. I was feeling completely the opposite. I was lethargic, bored, and without energy. So I thought to myself, wait a minute, I am really depressed, or is simply that I'm not doing the right thing in a sense. I just need to find something that makes me feel as if I'm playing. What if I can treat life itself as a play, as a game, the game of life? So this was a very, for me, deep realization, and it may sound obvious for some of you, but you have to understand that I could notice the contrast between the high and the low. Of course, I experienced this sense of focus and flow many times while playing, but I couldn't notice the difference because I was in this. I could see the both the high and the low. So that led me to this quest for, okay, finding what do I want to do next. And so regarding games, the point is that some people may say, okay, this idea of life as a game sounds cool, no? But are games just for children? Or is just an entertainment? It's something you do on your side. You cannot just treat your life as a game, no? I mean, come on, be serious, be realistic. That's a valid objection because, after all, not all games are experiences that lift your mood and make you a better person. Many games are just a waste of time and a distraction and make you hook and waste your money and your time. So that's a very valid point. But I start thinking like, okay, is it true that games are always a waste of time? Have I experienced situations where I could learn and become a better person after playing those games? And actually, I started thinking a little bit about this, and I realized, oh gosh, when more than 20 years ago, when I got my first game when I was a child, around 7, 8 years ago, my first computer game was Age of Empires, which is a very famous franchise. And this special game is a historical based game where you build civilizations and so on, but also you live different historical events from these civilizations. And this instantly hooked me because and I fall in love with history. So that was a really deep experience because it allowed me to have fun while learning about all these cool historical events. And when I couldn't play because during the week I wasn't allowed to play, then I could do something else. And I could go to the encyclopedia, which back then there wasn't Wikipedia, I didn't have internet, but I had this Encarta encyclopedia. And I could go and explore about how these civilizations work, where they were located. And you could literally immerse yourself in the background to make the experience even more deeper, because then you go back to the game and you know what happened behind the scenes. It's even more powerful. It's like a self-reinforcing loop. So that experience was really enlightened for me, because ultimately, I mean, I'm to this day very passionate about history. I love history. And I think a big part of this was my early introduction to these historical games. So yes, games can be very, very good experiences. So, because let's be honest, the modern education is not doing a great job at make us feel like we are doing something meaningful. And on the one hand, history was a great experience, and I enjoy also the lectures. Also, the teachers were very engaging in my case. But for instance, in chemistry, was the complete opposite. To this day, I hate chemistry, and I don't think it's a boring subject. Quite to the contrary, but the way he was taught to me didn't make any sense to me to this day. I don't understand anything about chemistry. I'm a complete idiot about this, and all all this occurred because the teachers never made the experience real to me. It was like, okay, you have these equations, you know things this way, you know the periodic table, so on, but there is no connection to the real world. Because I mean, chemistry is very important. I'm aware of that, but at least the teachers didn't do the job of making that connection, which I think that's the point of one of the important points of education. Also, if you think about that, when you are a child, a small child in the kindergarten, you are taught by playing, because you don't know how to read, for example, and so on. But then once you know how to read, somehow we shift the way of learning to using the classroom and using textbooks, so on, which again is not necessarily a bad thing, but is passive, and it is very difficult to get engaged in the class, especially when there are many children at the same time. So what do we do? How do we fix that? Personally, I don't have a solution about the educational system. I think that's a extremely complex problem that has many interrelated factors, political factors, sociological factors, and so on. So I can wait and see what happens, or I can try to do something. And that's what I want to do, is that I want to create not just games, because again, there is still the stigma against games. I like this word of interactive experiences. Why? Because essentially, with using interactive experiences, you can learn about whatever, because you get immersed and you can feel as you're being part of something. And again, if you're a gamer, you have experienced that many times, because you can get fully immersed in the world. If the game has a great world building, you can really feel as you are there. And personally, I find this beautiful. So how we can make the learning experience more like that, more like a game, more like fun. All this process of exploration leads ultimately to the concept of Finance Interactive, which is the game I want to talk in this talk. So what's Finance Interactive about? Finance Interactive, in a nutshell, is a financial simulator game where you will learn about real-world finance while having fun without even trying. How do we plan to accomplish that? I will explain in a minute. But as I mentioned at the beginning, this is not just another game that, so that people can have fun. I want to use this game as a proof of concept, because again, why finance? Personally, I like finance. I always been interested, despite having never taken a course, like a formal course in finance. But all what I learned is through, well, whatever I have available, textbooks and lectures. There is no similar version to what I wanted to create. So ultimately, I created the thing I wanted to have when I was, I don't know, 12 years old. And as I mentioned, I want to use this as a proof concept because I believe we can replicate this concept to almost any field of knowledge. Like history, as I mentioned, that's very easy in a sense, but also, I don't know, politics or philosophy, whatever, chemistry would be very interesting. Okay, so let me talk a little bit how we plan to do this. What's the point of Finance Interactive? So I have a very bold proposition that I think is very likely to accomplish. The proposition is that the Finance Interactive will teach you the equivalent of a corporate finance textbook and or the equivalent university class. And along the way, you won't learn just about corporate finance, but also about investments and the insurance world. Why? Because Finance Interactive is based on the following pillars. So, because that's a very bold claim. So the question is how we plan to do that. So there are four main ingredients. The first one is to create the immersive experience of being in the stock market. And that's by creating a very deep, complex financial simulator that feels as if the real world, where thousands or hundreds of companies interact and buy others and do everything they can to maximize the profits and so on. Then you, as a player, you are the CEO of an insurance company. And as such, you can manage insurance policies, create ones, and try to make money by doing this. But not only that, just making money from the policies, but also you use the money you collect to invest. So by doing this process of creating policies, you will learn about how insurance works and the different subtleties, because not just like get the money and run, you need some solvency regulations and so on. But with the money you can collect from premiums, you can use this money to invest in different financial assets, such as bonds, stocks, and so on. And along the way, you will learn about how the stock market works, what bonds are, what stocks are, and what's the difference. And you will learn how things are priced and so on. So you will get very deep into how the stock market works, which is something that we all hear about that, but very few people really know about what's going on behind the scenes. So now you can invest as a passive, sort of like you can spread your bets, diversify, and invest a little bit here and there. But also you can be like Warren Buffett and go and control companies, buy full companies, and try to manage them and improve their profitability, affecting their decisions. Because Finance Interactive also makes you make decisions about how things work. So you can decide, okay, whose CEO I want to use, and each CEO has different characteristics. So depending on how you want to like shape your company, this will have an impact on which CEO you want to have. There is no perfect CEO for all companies. And you can, if you want, choose like which projects the company will invest. And along the way, you also will need to know concepts of corporate finance, like what's the cost of capital, what's the cost of equity, and so on. Should I borrow or should I issue stocks, and so on and so on. So you can get very deep into corporate finance. Or, I mean, you can also alternatively just leave that to the CEO, for example, and focus on the big picture, if you wish. Personally, I don't like micromanagement, so I try to make things so that can be automated. Okay, so that are the main elements, but that I can understand. I'm pretty aware that corporate finance and finance in general can be quite scary. There are many concepts, and sometimes I believe like things are made more complex than they are, just to sound scary. And to make this transition very easy, effortless, we are developing an in-game encyclopedia completely offline so that you can use it wherever you are, in a plane or whatever. You don't need internet connection, and you can access and understand all the concepts explained in the game. So the encyclopedia works both as a game manual as well as a repository of knowledge in which you can go and see like quickly, okay, what this concept means, have an idea, a quick idea. But if you want to go even deeper, We also provide resources, links to like the Wikipedia page, for example, or to references for books so that you can go even deeper, as deep as you want, if that's whatever topic you are interested. For instance, you may decide, okay, like find the bond market very interesting, and you go and look for books, and maybe you decide to, I don't know, do a PhD or become a bond trader. Who knows? So all these concepts together makes Finance Interactive an unique learning and experience in which, again, is not the point of this is that you are not gonna even try to learn. It's not like you will be forced, okay, you have to learn this and this. By playing and to become a better player, you will have to learn all these concepts, and that will make the experience effortless. So that's a very broad description of the game. And again, this is all abstract, so you can go and try the game for free now at financeinteractive.org. You can get the latest version of the game, and this game is constant development. So every week, basically, you're getting new updates and fixing bugs and so on. So this project is just starting. Okay, so currently we're in version 0.3, so it's still early alpha, so many things will be broken or not working. But every week, this is getting better and better because, again, this is a project in which we're building the most sophisticated financial simulator available to the masses, in a sense. Okay, and I believe that by doing that and trying to make this as accessible as possible, people will start understand. We will start to get this concept of learning to play and to interactive experiences. Because, as I mentioned, ultimately I want to inspire others as well. That if you know something you want to share with the world, you don't just talk or lecture about this. You go and create an experience so that we can understand this, try to get what you're trying to explain in a much more effective and engaging way. And would be personally, I'm very excited about this possibility that, let's say, as I mentioned, I hate chemistry. What if I could go and find some experience that teach me all this cool concept about chemistry that I can get it finally and not just get bored with the equations that I was taught as a child. So yeah, that's the invitation. Go and check it out, the game and the link. And I'm really looking forward to your feedback and suggestions and to make this game better and better every day. So thank you very much and see you soon. Bye.